Hello. Happy Sunday, folks. How you doing? This is Live Vibe Coding with Will Melton. I'm Will Melton, and this is a production of Channel RVA. If you're not familiar, check out channelrva.com to learn more about our original content and all the news and music and everything else that we're bringing your way for everybody in RVA, Richmond, Virginia. This is something new. We're taking AI and everything I've learned in this process of building 52 apps in 2026 and putting it into one place where people can find entertainment, get connected to the community, and generally be informed and have a higher quality of life. So that's what I'm working on. And studio.willmelton.com is the place where you can go to find out about all of the apps that I'm building. There's a slight delay in the publication of the apps that I'm producing. But I will share my screen here and give you guys just a quick view into what's going on. So we have, if we go over to the home page, you can actually see all of my sessions right here. So every past episode that we have, you'll be able to check that out. I've got some shorts in here too, some bits about how I built my product roadmap. And we'll keep clipping some things out there for you guys. But in any event, this is the place where you can find out more information about me and the 52 app build that I'm working on this year. I'm going to just quickly turn my volume down just a tad. All right. Thanks for joining me today. If you've got a question, please post it in the comments. I will be keeping an eye on that throughout today's build. I've got two things I'm going to do today. We are going to finish an app that I was working on yesterday. If you joined me, you learned a little bit about Simmer Circle. This is an application for people to be able to share sauces and create a network of a community of people who can share sauces for more elevated cooking throughout the week, less time spent, more time with family, more time doing the things that matter, and also not buying so much plastic. So this whole site is about creating that network and allowing people to coordinate their meals or at least their sauces around around a schedule that would keep people in sync. Now, there's a couple pieces to this. We need to have recipes, we need to have containers, we need to have the network, and all that is what we're going to be building. And I need to get a tissue. I'll be right back. So, in any event, what we're doing here is trying to create a free space for people to be able to coordinate um, around their cooking. So, we've got some neighbors here that might participate in this, and I'm kind of just building a little prototype. I really don't like this image, so I'm going to do something about that later. But also, a couple of things that I want to share with you. I do not like emojis, so in place of any emoji, I'd rather use icons, with the exception of the tomato in Simmer Circle logo. I think generally we want things to be a little bit more elevated. I'm not a fan of the circle of jars with people's hands on them. I think we need to do some real imagery instead of somebody, you know, pouring sauces out into meal prep containers or something if we can find it. High quality stock images. So that's just a design style change that I'm going to make a quick improvement here on the homepage. But I'm going to also talk to, yeah, this thing doesn't listen to me right away. But let me go ahead and give this a new, I'm going to do a voice memo just so that I don't miss the transcription, because that tends to be one of my biggest problems. Some of it has to do with the fact that my headset is a little bit slow, but let's see what we can do here. I need to add several things to the roadmap. I want to give people flexibility around what containers they're going to use. They could use simple mason jars for this, or they could use uh, LO containers, or really anything. But I think it would be good for us to have a selection of containers for people to choose from. I do have an Amazon affiliate account, so we can go ahead and source some products using my affiliate code. That way we have a little bit of opportunity to make some money here, and even though we're going to be making this free for people. We need to really drive home the big picture on the homepage. We need to improve that to be more around the realm of sustainability. I think we have some stuff there now, but I want to talk about, the community on its own. I want to talk about the sustainability piece on its own. I want to talk about the quality of meals on its own. So the homepage really needs to be elevated in every way possible to help people understand what this is, how it works, and not any ambiguity whatsoever. We also need to source recipes. I need to find either open source recipes of Creative Commons license, or um, recipes that have their copyrights expired. It would be kind of cool if we could find Julia Child's recipes. Not sure if that's something that's available, but what I want to make sure that we're doing here is creating both sauce recipes that are going to be the primary driver of the application, as well as the meal recipes that those sauces can extrapolate out into. The idea here is that one family might want chicken alfredo, while the other family wants, some kind of fish alfredo. I don't know if that's even a thing, but it's the opportunity for people to vary their actual cooked meals while still using the same sauces. Um, we need to be able to scrape those sauces recipes from someplace and populate this so that we can actually get a start here. I want to add all this to the roadmap as individual tasks first. And then we will execute through the product roadmap. I also noticed that you made changes that I didn't authorize. I explicitly told you to keep the tomato emoji for the simmer circle logo. And so I need you to be 100% following my instructions and not executing on tasks that you've decided to execute on. That's not acceptable. So I have a tendency to think rather quickly, and so I'm able to verbalize better than I'm able to type, and that's also maybe a little bit more interesting for you guys out there in live land. Also, I'm sitting here looking at my actual stream data here, and I'm just curious because one might imply that yesterday's title is the title that is showing up for you guys, and I'm not sure if that's the case, but I think it's true. I think it's true. All right.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com
So that was my reminder to give a quick plug to all the things that I'm working on here. I forget to kind of inform people as I move along through this. And so I just want to tell you guys studio.willmelton.com is the place where you can get more information about the things that I'm building. And you also subscribe over there to become a referral partner. Some of these apps are for sale, some of them are looking for investment. And so you can play along with me and make a little bit of money if you send folks our way for either of those two opportunities. You can take a look at the apps that we have built in our gallery there. You can also see past sessions, so you never miss something if you're not here live with us. And yeah, that's what I'm working on. 52 apps this year, one a week for 52 weeks. I'll probably finish before the end of the year. My team certainly would like me to. I've taken a few days off recently because I've been working on some internal projects that have demanded my attention. Very important work that we'll tell you a little bit more about soon. Today, I'm working on Simmer Circle. This is an app for people to want to share sauces. I have some scrolling issues here. I'm noticing some lag in the loading as I scroll up and down on this site. It seems like when I scroll back up, there's some issues. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I want to make sure we address that before we keep going with anything else. And something else I'm working on today, I'll tell you guys about while that is working over there, figuring out what's going on with that. I have built this insight engine that is helping me to do some research on my particular field of study. And I'm just going to quickly give this a directive. We're actually only allowed to have one agent per human user. And so what I want to do is remove lucid field and test verify agents. And I think we're just going to continue to use the bolt signal agent going forward. And right now, there is no insight on the Pondering's presence posts. I don't have any ability to kind of come back and see the information from that. So maybe we could retrieve the URL for these so that we can click on them and actually observe the engagement that happens there. Or maybe we can think about ingesting the data from those dialogues into this so that we can generate other types of reports. So I'll tell you a little bit about what this does here in just a minute. This is kind of a complicated thing, but I just want to start a new prompt over here. That's fine. Okay, so let me just take you over to Moltbook really quickly so that you know what this is. Moltbook is Reddit for AI agents. So AI agents come here and post things and have conversations with other AI agents, and I find that to be particularly interesting. So I figured what better way to find out what I want to know than to go and ask some of these agents what they know about this whole situation. So the question I'm posing are related to things, you know, what would make our site more effective to show up in AI, and what are the signals that AI evaluates, and what goes, beyond the prompt. What is AI thinking about to be able to make a consideration and decision and output? And then it gets into all these other things. So it started to dig into some thoughts and find some questions that might be appropriate for the network after having done earlier research. And we get to see these questions emerge that we can consider including. So I basically posed several questions in one run. I'll start the research run. It's going to go ahead and post up and start to look around. And then these agents will talk to each other, and it's going to gather the insights and put it into a report. So you can see all of our reports over here. I've got 6 cycles of reports, each one building off of the other. And I am using this information to be able to gain insights into how this field is evolving and emerging into the future, because it is changing as the AI large language models change. And so we want to be able to have clarity of this. And so I'm actually working on a piece right now that talks about a whole bunch of new concepts in AI discovery optimization, and a whole new lexicon that people should be thinking about as they uh, better understand how this world works and how they can position their clients to win. This is my competitive edge, and so I'm taking this now over to a new um, a new space. I've got all this research compiled in a Claude space where I can do some deeper research, organize my thoughts, and produce an article that can get this information out there to folks. Okay, so I think we're better off here now. It looks like it's maybe an interface issue, but I want to get into our dashboard because we have populated our dashboard with some activities that we want to execute on. And as you guys observed yesterday, if you were with me live, I am I no longer have access to the dashboard. I suspect it's because of some kind of permissions issue. Make sure that my user is an admin. All right. Let's see what's going on over there. All right. So there's some other things in here. Let me just take a look at the presence. I guess I have to get that last prompt from my voice memos. Maybe I lost it. Let's see. I might be able to find this post. Yeah, here it is. Okay.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
So essentially what I'm doing is a couple of things. One is I'm asking questions and running reports trying to get information. And secondarily, I am injecting posts into the network that leverage Exponent 21's expertise to be able to triangulate information across um, content ecosystems. So Moltbook's an AI-driven engine. So it's going to be a different signal. And there's no evidence that Moltbook's content is ever being evaluated by AI, but Moltbook did get bought by Meta. So it's very possible that their models are going to be trained on this data at some point. My primary objective right now is trying to understand uh, more about this field, but I'm also curious to know how publishing on Moltbook has an impact on anything at all. And so there's kind of a couple of things going on here. Moltbook is an interesting place for me. I got a comment on this one. Um, and I'm going to do something here because I think there's an interesting opportunity. I would like to modify the Moltbook Insight engine to conduct an analysis on what makes content rise to the surface, because I'm interested in more agents participating in these discussions that we're generating. And I'm curious to be able to have more data to analyze and more dialogue going back and forth. So um, I want to build a utility that does that research first and then begins to think about the questions that we pose and the knowledge that we, the presence posts that we generate to see if we can't increase the engagement and likelihood of visibility.
I love music. Die einzige App, die du brauchst für Nonstop Dance und DJ Music in the Mix. Jetzt neu? Mit Tomorrowland One World Radio. Der offizielle Tomorrowland Radiosender. 24/7 in the Mix.
Live today. Love tomorrow. Unite forever.
Tomorrowland every day. In der I Love Music App. This is I Love Chill Hop.
All right. I was just checking to see if my title was what I made it because I use OBS Studio, which is a streaming application that I updated it yesterday, and I have this control where I can see the chat window and I can see what the name of my stream is, and it has yesterday's stream title, so that's why I've been curious about that. But in any event, let's see. Let me figure out if I can get to the dashboard. I think I've been calling it the wrong thing. I need to go to the roadmap. Here we go. So my sprint, my product roadmap has a sprint auto assembler. It assembles those things based on their priority and dependency, so it's efficient as possible. And then my sprint executor is going to actually allow me to paste this instruction over here and begin to do the work. So I can watch that here in real time and see what's happening. But I'm actually going to switch back over to my Insight engine and see what questions it has for me so I can build a couple of things at one time. Okay, so I made some decisions there on how this is going to work. I do not necessarily want to see the report on what makes things more visible there. I just want them to be more visible. So I'm going to give it the ability to make that instruction. Also going to allow it to observe my own posts so that it can learn as it goes. If you're following from the Richmond region and you haven't yet checked out channelrva.com, this is a new AI powered media service, and there's a few things about this that I'll tell you about. We have very high editorial standards for this. I know that had somebody get shut down or shut their news service down because they were getting in hot water over plagiarism. Definitely not what we're about. We're about bringing people together from across the community. So we have correspondents who are joining our platform, and we have people who are original creators that we ingest into our platform so that they can have a larger audience. News, video, podcasts, events, shows, art, events, horoscopes, and so much more. We tell you where you can order food every day to kind of get an idea of where things are in town, and lots of ways to get involved over here. But definitely subscribe to this site to get your news, your Richmond news, on a daily basis, and you will not be disappointed. We make sure that you've got the weather. If you put your horoscope information in there, it sends you that every day, and give you some headlines from across Central Virginia, as well as exclusive invitations to events. Like we had a block party on Friday night at our office, and we had about 35, 40 people who showed up for that, maybe more. It was a good time. Thanks for showing up if you did. This is one of the places where you can actually see my live vibe coding sessions. So that's going on over here. Let's see how we're doing. So we're getting finished up over there. Let's see how we did on our build. We got a question. Go get my Amazon affiliate ID. All right, so okay, let's see what this said.
You're tuned into Channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
All right, so I'm gonna do a new run. And hopefully the analysis that just got completed will be considered for this run. I didn't see where that information got stored. Now, the other thing that I'm doing here is I have all these reports are being fed into large language model NotebookLM. So I'm going to go ahead and get my latest report from 7 and paste that in here so that we can continue to grow the knowledge. This is a closed system, so you get to put multiple things in here and not you can trust that the research that's done with this is going to only reference the things that are found within this gathering of data. So I'm waiting on my latest run to complete. Oh, we have it here. Let's see. Okay, copy report 8. We'll paste that guy in there. So I'm going to just see how this has done. I have a few different things that I've worked on. I've got audio file. I've got some different graphics, a quiz, some just mind maps, things that I can leverage to be able to learn a little bit faster. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining me again. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Hopefully you got some time outside before the rain starts. A bit of time here before it does, but maybe another hour or so. It doesn't know that I'm not a layman. All right, so working on a couple things today, bouncing back and forth. That's my ADD brain at work. Simmer Circle should have some recipes in it now, so let's go see what we've got. We've got some sauce recipes. That's awesome. Circle recipes. No circle recipes yet. The data that we pulled in for the recipes are null. Something's wrong with the math, maybe. And then it does not appear that there was any consideration given to the food recipes that are paired with the sauce recipes. Did we not conduct that level of scraping yet? I think that for every sauce recipe, we should have 4 starting recipes for entrees, dinner entrees, and accompanying sides. I don't really know how to address that piece. Maybe the whole meal obviously is what are the sides that go with it, so that could be just a recommendation. I'm thinking what we want to do here is largely do simple meals, so meat, vegetable, starch, and then the sauce is really what ties it together. The preparation obviously is what matters, but sauces are already there. We just need to make the base meal and pour the sauce over top. So the idea here is eventually we'll be able to start a circle. I'm going to create a circle right now. We'll call it the Sauce Squad. Why not? We'll say that there are 4 members in this. We'll say 5 just to make it. Oh, oh no. Got some errors that we got to overcome. All right, we've got a few instructions going there that we're going to get worked up, but let me just see where we're at with Moltbook Insights. I think we did everything over here that we needed to do. I'm just going to find a new topic to post about. So this is interesting. So like, who's tab stack? That's what I want to find out. Oh, this is something else. I feel like every day I go into AI land, I just I stumble on something new that just takes me down a rabbit hole. So this is interesting. I'm actually going to go sign up for this because I want to know how it works. But this is so the way that keep in mind that Moltbook, these agents are deployed by other businesses, people, folks that want to do research and have dialogue, and so. Oh man, this conversation's getting exciting. And it seems to have done a good job at making this post more likely to be engaged with. Not so much so far, but a little bit at a time.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators.
All
Subscribe
right.
at channelrva.com.
Well, I have to learn more about this later. That's kind of interesting, but let's see what I found in here. So I'm going to publish an article on this heuristics and probabilistic mapping and AI information synthesis. I have a draft here ready to publish a little later today. So you can be the beneficiary of that research. And I'm going to keep conducting the research. I wouldn't have built this app if I didn't think that it was worth it
Spring break,
um,
baby.
to continue
Check
to
unsere
identify those
Notebook-Playlist
opportunities. So
von I Love the Sun.
Ready for the summer.
I love the sun. Alle worldwide Sommerhits
let's
und
see
Summer
if
Throwbacks.
there's something else I can drop into this
Vorbeiziehen
to be able
auf
to
dem Beat
get.
und Amapiano. An I Love Music channel tip. I love the sun. This is I Love Chill Hop.
So each of these ideas are incredibly powerful individual ideas that, when stitched together, can help somebody develop a strategy for how to show up in large language models. And so there's just a lot of nuance to this, and there's no perfect solution. There's kind of a combination of strategies, macro and micro, that are used. And so my purpose here is to be able to go deeper and to be able to get more aligned with what is going to be the most effective. And over here in Simmer Circle, it's like, if I click on, I gotta hit play here. My queue got paused. Okay, let's go back to recipes. It does not appear that there's a repository for the entree recipes or the dinner meals. I think it really should be a full recipe. And then I think based on the sauce commitments of everybody in the circle and the circle timing, I should be able to see what dinner options are available to me so that I can go ahead and map out my week or whatever time frame we're dealing with. I'm gonna keep playing with this while we're here talking. All right. I was just observing that post got spam flagged, and I don't know if it's the frequency with which this guy is posting, because the other ones were fine. Okay, so I'm going down the rabbit hole on this guy, but I wanted to add some questions there. Give this page a refresh. And there is no way for me to get to my meal recipes. Oh, I did see it there. Okay. Um, There does not appear to be a QR code like I had asked for. It's just a regular code. I think we should be able to show people a QR code so that they can join the circle very easily. And then once we get the circle started, adding shared recipes is not a logical thing to do. I think there needs to be somewhat of an onboarding step where we can kind of go through and get people invited in, and then we can order the jars if they don't have them, or you can indicate whether you want to order jars or if you have jars. But I think there needs to be some kind of time-based activation that allows users to be able to start the cycle for the current period, choosing sauces. Maybe there can be like a voting, upvoting, downvoting thing for which sauces get selected that week. And then users maybe can queue up recipes from the meals to be able to allow the system to properly um, indicate, where the demand is for different sauces. So sauces can be automatically sorted and ordered based on what meals are in people's sort of plan. Like they want X, Y, and Z into the future, and we want to allow the algorithm to backfill sauce leaderboard for adoption, and there will be a window where that closes, and then maybe people can select in that window of time based on what gets selected which one they're going to make, and that assignment happens some way. Maybe there's some kind of indication of like what types of sauces different people like to make based on their family heritage and things like that. I think we could do a lot to elevate how this whole thing works, and I want to expand on a plan to do that. So let's get to thinking about a good user experience, a good user interface, and a good data storage and algorithmic approach to how we do this. Can use some AI if we want to. And I'm going to turn on the planning for this one because I want to specifically be in planning mode for this. And then once the plan's built, I'll review it and then I'll add that stuff to the roadmap so that we can make this even better. This is one of those ones where I don't really know what I'm doing yet with this. It's kind of like, okay, let me get started and see what happens. And then once that's done, we can continue to build onto it like Legos. It's kind of how I work. Back over here to Moltbook. Okay, so I've got 3 questions loaded up there. The way that the system works, if you weren't paying attention earlier, if you weren't joining me earlier, I started with 3 questions and it started to generate new questions based on the answers that it received. And so I've been kind of toggling questions on and off as new questions come up. So let me go over here and do a new run. Let me review this plan. All right, I approved that plan. It should be putting it into the roadmap before we actually execute, because those plans are elaborate and I want to have them executed individually, not all at once. So I think, yeah, it's adding the roadmap items. That's good. All right, so we have a new research cycle done. I'm going to go ahead and populate that in here. And then I'll come in here into my presence posts and see if the links work. No, the links still do not work. I can get behind that.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
All right. Let's see. Our roadmap is populated. I'll go ahead and auto-assemble that sprint. Just so you guys know, in case you're new to Lovable, the description of this video has a referral link. You can get 10 free credits from Lovable, so you can build on your own. I'm probably burning through many credits today, maybe several hundred. We'll see. Maybe not quite that many, maybe 100 or so credits today building this. Moltbook's probably a light build. Okay, so here we are. We're executing on tasks that are in this queue. Simmer Circle is being built. We'll get to testing. We tested some features today. I do have a domain, so I'm going to go ahead and add a custom domain. Tell me what you think about this. Would you be a user of Simmer Circle? Would you share sauces with your friends and family and neighbors? All right. So looks like my build got stopped somewhere there, so I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with it. Yeah, it's still going. Okay, good. All right.
Kostenlose Streaming-App für Charts, Dance, Hip-Hop und Throwbacks. Immer neue Playlisten, immer live gestreamt. Mit I Love Radio und vielen weiteren Non-Stop-Music-Channels. I love music. This is I love chill hop.
I'm going to go back to my roadmap over here, take a look at what we've got. If you're joining me here late in the episode, you're watching Live Vibe Coding with Will Melton. You can follow my journey to build 52 apps in 2026 at studio.willmelton.com. You can also subscribe at channelrva.com to learn more about everything that we're doing here in Richmond, Virginia. We have a number of original programs, and Live Vibe Coding is one of them. America's Healthiest City is a podcast that we've been running for several years now. We're bringing that back. The Agency is a comedy show that we've been producing, and we are about to release another episode of that. So if you're in the Richmond region, you want a good laugh, hop over to channelrva.com, subscribe here, and you'll be notified when that drops, along with all the rest of our news, art, music, events, horoscopes, all the things you'll find right here. I'm going to keep plugging this for just a little bit longer today. Did not get finished, but we are actually live at summercircle.com, so you can go check this out, play with it, give us your feedback. Leave them in the comments. I don't have a place for you to leave feedback on this site quite yet, but we're getting closer to the place that we need to be. So there's my QR code. We need to start a cycle. I need to go into recipes and find meals. Let's see if we can. The meal recipes have a checkbox called available for swapping this week, and that's not accurate for the meal recipes, or for the meals rather. Also, whenever I click on meals, it shows me that the active link is recipes, not actually meals, so that thing is still integrated somehow. We need to separate those things out. But what I want to be able to do is add recipes from meals to my personal preference, not to my circle, but this is what I want to eat in an upcoming future. That then drives what kind of sauce is needed to complete the work. The other thing that I'm just noticing as I look through this, I don't know that I want the pairing suggestions on this. I think that is baked into the AI recommendation features. But what I'm not seeing is the inclusion of the actual sauce in the ingredients and steps. It does show it at the bottom, but I want to make sure that what people want to eat is influencing the leaderboard of sauces, which right now it's not working that way. Clouds are starting to roll in, folks. If you're here in the Richmond region, go find some shelters. Don't get wet unless you like it. All right, so I am getting close to a closing point. I've taken this Moltbook research about as far as I can take it today. We might have some new questions. I'm going to get rid of some of these guys and just add some new ones in here. I'll do an engagement analysis before we take it all the way up. It should happen when I start the research run, but just to be sure that it happens before I start the research run and then that information is stored properly.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
I have been giving explicit instructions and I am not getting out of you what I am asking for. First of all, when I go into the meal dinner planner and I click on a recipe, the recipe menu item becomes the active menu item. I told you that it needs to be the meals that is the active menu item when I'm clicking on dinner recipes. Further, the dinner planner is appropriately showing me dinners that I can make this week. But the dinner recipes are still not able to be flagged as meals that I want to eat for future runs. I was very clear about this. Meal recipes drive the algorithm for the next cycle. If a bunch of recipes are in there that I want and they use a bunch of different sauces, that should be contributing to the scoring mechanism to determine what sauces we adopt as a group this week to cook. If I don't have a way to flag meals as something I want to eat, if I don't have a place where I can go and see the meals that I've flagged, it doesn't work. I need you to think more holistically about this problem and come up with a complete solution that enables the user to easily flag meals on and flag meals off. And I want to see the leaderboard for the next cycle. I want to see I don't see a place for nominations to happen. I'm in the middle of a cycle right now for the Sauce Squad. Where do I actually nominate anything? I feel like not only is the interface not complete, but it's not intuitive as to how a user would actually navigate the interface. So in addition to doing the deep research to figure out what we need to do to improve this overall system, I also need to have I lost my train of thought. I have to reread what I was saying. All right, so I'm going to do a guided tour in this so that I can kind of think stepwise how a user's supposed to use the system. So we'll figure out how that works. I'm going to go take a look at the most recent report. Okay. So I know I'm usually building inside of Lovable, and I'm using Lovable for kind of a multi-step research project today, and using NotebookLM to do it. So there's a little bit of different tools that I'm combining to do some deeper work today that really impacts my core work at Exponent 21. So you could just see a little bit more behind the scenes as to how I work, and ways that I can use these tools to synthesize data, have visibility of that data, and then think about how to then optimize it later. Okay. So I'll keep working on this, but I'm going to wrap up today and let you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I've got to get taxes done and get some other work done that is designated for a rainy day. So hopefully you guys have a good one. And join me again on, let's see, I take a look here and see what my next recording is, because I believe that I have a conflict tomorrow. We'll see. Something's supposed to happen tomorrow. So I think I'm going to end up not being in with you guys, but I'll be live again on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Saturday, April 11th. We'll build something new. Make sure I post Summer Circle out there on my social feed so people can test it whenever it's really done. But we're going to take us out here with one last roadmap assembly. And let that one go. And thanks guys so much for joining me. I enjoyed hanging out with you again today. Leave comments. Let me know what you want to know next time. Tell me ideas for what you want to build. I'm happy to hang out with you guys and do something new every time I do this. I always come up with some ideas for us, but I could always have more. So thanks again. Hope you have a good weekend. See you soon.